Hey, what's up guys? Imran here, Monster Gadgets. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Thank you so much for joining me. And in today's video, we're going to be testing out the full self-driving capabilities of my 21 Tesla Model 3 Performance. I already put in adders here that we're going to go ahead and get on a highway. We're going to change highways from one to another and then take an exit and see how well this actually works. If you have missed my previous videos, I have tested out the auto park feature. I have also tested out the summons feature, which is part of the full self-driving package. So if you have not checked out those videos, I will leave them in the description below. So make sure you go check out those videos if you're interested. My goal here is to give you guys real-life examples of how well the full self-driving currently works. I am running version 10.2. 2021.4.15.1. That is the current software that is available as of right now, the latest one. So let's go ahead and dive into it. All right guys, here we are. So I'm gonna go ahead and start driving. For those of you that might not know, so full self-driving is currently only available on the highway. You can use Autopilot in the inside streets and it does a fairly decent job, but full self-driving right now capabilities are limited to highway use only. So let's go ahead and see how well this works. Once I get out of the parking lot here, I will go ahead and engage Autopilot. We'll take a look at how well that works on the inside streets. I'll give you guys some pointers on traffic lights and lane changes and things like that. And then we'll go ahead and do a test for on-ramp to freeway change and see how well this full self-driving currently works on the highway. So it is a busy day today. It is absolutely beautiful outside. It's about 60 degrees, as you guys can see here, and sunny. And I am on Route 59, which is one of the busier roads here in which runs actually through quite a bit of cities, but again I live in Naperville. Here we are, so I'm going to go ahead and engage Autopilot, and as you guys can see it is available, so 2 times down, and we'll go ahead and engage it. It's telling you to keep your hands on the wheel at all times and be prepared to take over at any given time. Right now I do have our speed limit set to 55 max, which is 10 over the speed limit. The speed limit here is 45 miles per hour. So a couple things I do want you guys to note is when you're driving in the city, when you're coming up to a traffic light like this, as long as there's cars in front of you, it's going to continue following if the light is green. If the light turns red, it'll tell you on here that it's going to go ahead and stop, which of course it'll stop with the flow of the traffic. But if there's no traffic in front of you and you're approaching a green light, it's actually going to alert you saying, do you want to continue in the intersection on a green light? So you have a couple options. You can hit the accelerator, you can go ahead and use one of the wheels here to let it know that you wanted to, or you can use the stalk here, just press down 1 time to give it a command to keep going. So you'll hear a little ding that'll tell you that, please confirm if you want to continue to the intersection, and then at that point you can. If you don't do anything, I believe it comes to a stop. So just FYI on that. Stopping for traffic control in 200 feet, obviously we already stopped, so that is a bit of a glitch. Use accelerator or gear to continue. We'll go ahead and continue that. That normally doesn't come up, so I'm kind of surprised that did, because again, there's cars in front of us. It's normally supposed to follow that. I'm gonna go ahead and switch lanes here. There is a truck on my left side. I'm not sure if it's gonna pick that up. We'll cancel that here since it wasn't shifting yet. You guys can see there's a truck right here. So one of the options that you have on here as part of this the Autopilot is how aggressively do you want your cars to change lanes. Right now I have it on average. You can do like a Mad Max, which is like the aggressive version of switching lanes and kind of going through traffic, or you can do it more chill or relaxed or standard. In addition to having that feature, you can also do something where you can give it confirmation. What it'll do is it'll tell you that it wants to change lanes, and it'll ask you to approve it before it actually does that. I personally don't have that feature active right now. I just have it set to, if it wants to change lanes, go ahead and change lanes. It'll alert me that it's going to change lanes and it's going to go ahead and do it by itself. But if you don't want it to do it by itself, you can turn that feature on in your autopilot setting, where, let me see if I can change lanes here, guys. This truck is really making me, there you go. So turn signal on, it changes lanes by itself, and then we'll go ahead and turn the turn signal off by itself as well. So we'll go ahead and let this go on autopilot. Obviously I've got my hands on the wheel here in case I need to take over. I can simply just move the steering wheel, or I can go ahead and hit the brakes and it will disengage autopilot. So I'll let this go on. We've got about 2 miles, I believe, or so before we, probably close to, I think, 3 miles before we get on the highway. And at that point, I will take over. So while we're driving, just to give you guys another note, as far as the max speed goes, again, as I mentioned earlier, speed limit here is 45. I have it set to 55. You can actually use this scroll wheel here to adjust the speed. So if you wanted to go faster, you can do max 60, for example. You can scroll down and set it to 5 miles per hour. It all depends on what your comfort level is. Right now, obviously, because there's traffic, it's not going the full speed limit, as you guys can tell here. But if there was no traffic and I was going the full speed limit, I can go ahead and set this as a maximum, and it would drive at that maximum speed, unless it obviously wasn't able to. So you've got your right scroll wheel here to help you figure out what you want the max speed to be. As you can see, we're approaching the red light here. It's telling me it's going to go ahead and stop for traffic 300 feet from the light, 200 feet, and then it's going to go ahead and come to a complete stop here. And earlier I mentioned about 3 miles. That's actually telling us right here, it's 3.6 miles currently to Highway 88. So I was off by a mile on that. We've got a bus behind us. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but it is jumping all over the place. Keep in mind, guys, that right now, if you know anything about Teslas, is they're always improving with over-the-air updates. So even though you might see some of these glitches happening right now where it can't really differentiate where the car is, or the car is not currently moving, but it's showing it's jumping all over the place here, these things will evolve and will fix themselves with future updates as new updates become available over the air. So with the light turning green here, as you can see, it didn't really alert me to do anything. I didn't do anything myself. It just simply follows the traffic here. To get into your settings for Autopilot, you can simply hit the car menu here, go to Autopilot, and then customize, navigate on Autopilot. And this is where you can go ahead and select what you want for your options to be. So speed-based lane changes, again, I have it on average. You can do Mad Max, mild, or you can disable it where it won't do anything by itself. But I have it on center right now. Let's go ahead and exit out of here. We've got an interesting car behind us. I'm not sure what that is. Can't really tell, it's too low. Can't tell on the camera, but alright, let's focus on driving here. Oh, it's a Honda S2000. Alright, once this car passes on the right hand side, I'm going to go ahead and try to get the middle lane here, so I'll show you the lane change here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the turn signal on. It's going to go ahead and notate that there's a spot available, and it's going to go ahead and change lanes just like that. In my opinion, it is a little bit aggressive in changing lanes. The minute it sees that it's open, it's going to go ahead and jump into that spot. I would like to see it a little bit more relaxed to where it kind of goes in, but you know, this works well too. So you can tell here, it's telling me to go ahead and apply pressure. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go like this. Well, I didn't do it well enough, so I disengaged. I'm going to go ahead and re-engage. There you go. So you could do it this way, or again, you can use the stock. I normally use the stock just because I don't want to move the steering wheel, but I was too late on that time. All right, because there's a lot of traffic here and I don't want to bore you guys, I'm going to go ahead and continue once we are close to the highway, which we're still about 2.3 miles away. So I'll go ahead and stop it here, and then we'll pick up as I get to the ramp. All right, guys, here's an example, and we're coming close to the highway here, so let's pick up here. Here's an example of where I'm at a red light. I've got Autopilot engaged, and I am the first one here. So even though I'm stopped at a red light here, when it turns green, you'll see what I mean as far as confirming that you want to go ahead and continue to the intersection here, or start from the intersection. So we're about 1.4 miles away from the highway, and as soon as this turns green, you guys will see an example of what I was talking about earlier. Okay, as you can see, it turns green, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the stop there, and it's gonna go ahead and continue. So even though it's on autopilot, it's engaged, it will not go through the intersection until you tell it to, if you are the first person there. So you can hit the accelerator or you can hit the stop, and it's gonna go ahead and continue from there. Apply light pressure, I'm gonna press down, and as you can see, it goes in and this continues on. Alright, so we're getting pretty close to the highway here. We're about 0.3 miles away from jumping onto Highway 88. I forgot a red light. Alright, well, we'll stop at the red light here, and we'll continue on afterwards. I'm curious to know how it's going to go on ramp. Is it going to go ahead and, because I know there's a lane that goes into, like you got to change lanes to get into the ramp. So am I going to have to turn the turn signal on, or is it going to do it by itself? I'm not sure. We'll see how this works. But this is my first time, I think. Yeah, because I've done autopilot and full self-driving, feature on highway to a highway, but I don't think I've done it from a ramp on. So I'm curious to see how well this works here. So we'll figure it out. Okay, light's green. Let's go. Here we go. Past intersection here. And let's see. We do have a little bit of room, so I might not use my turn signal. Let's see what it does. I'll use my turn signal. It's going to go ahead and come over. Stop to continue. Yes, I want to continue. And let's see if it continues to follow them. Bit of a nudge there. I think it didn't know exactly what to do. Continue on. So that was kind of funky. I'm not sure why it did that. It did take over, you guys can see here, on the ramp, but that was a bit jerky. It kind of like stopped, even though I had said continue. So let's go ahead and change lanes, get over. There's a car coming. Alright, I'm going to take over because there's cars coming. And people are going to think, what the hell am I doing? So that on-ramp so far wasn't all that great. Let's go ahead and change lanes again. Alright, that it did okay. I'm glad I got away from that truck because there was some debris coming up. I was a bit hesitant. There was that car there, so I'm not sure, even though it's further away, it could have changed lanes, but I was a bit hesitant coming over. So right now we are on full self-driving. We are, as you guys saw, on ramp coming on. We're going to get off the ramp onto another highway in about 7 miles and see how well this does here. I'm going to let it kind of drive on its own. I will, of course, give feedback when it asks for it. Continue to pay attention. So it's telling us to go ahead and change lanes. It did that by itself. I did not turn signal on. I didn't do anything. I simply applied pressure because it wanted me to on the steering wheel, and it was confirming that I was still there. So I'm going to keep my hands on here, and let's see how many times I have to intervene and how well this works. as you saw there, it's going to go ahead and pass this truck and do that by itself. So when it does turn the turn signal on and it tries to come over, you do have time to cancel it by turning the turn signal off and stay in that lane, or you can let it use the turn signal and it just continue with the lane change. Here it says upcoming lane change, tap to cancel, so it does note that there's a lane change coming. We're not going to go ahead and cancel because we wanted to go change lanes, which it is right now, and it's going to go ahead and do that here. Just like that. And it looks like it's going to go ahead and plan taking that ramp on its own based on it says upcoming lane changes again here. So now we are in the lane that's going to go ahead and get onto the other highway. This is pretty cool, I like this. Let's see how well it actually changes ramps here. Here we go, 355. Speed is 45 and it doesn't notate that. It does not notate that. Speed limit says 60 on here. Ramp speed's 45, as you guys just saw the sign that we passed. So it looks like it's going to continue going at that speed based off of that. But so far it's doing fine. I mean, on ramp by itself right now, doing extremely well. This is going to be interesting. We've got this lane that basically, once you get on the highway, it also exits onto the street. So it did disengage and asked me to take over, which I did. So I'm going to go ahead and re-engage it, and we are back re-engaged. So I think it just didn't know what to do there. It basically told me to go ahead and take over, which I immediately did. I'm curious to know if that lane didn't exit into an exit and it was just a normal highway. Would it continue on like it normally would? Because to me, coming off another freeway, it should have just continued on, but it didn't. So we're going to do a lane change here. Just like that. So right now we're about 1.4 miles away from the exit here. I'll let it go on and see how well it does out to the exit point, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and I don't actually need to go to where I'm going. I'm just doing this for the sake of making a video for you guys and testing this feature out. So while we're doing this, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It would help me out a lot, and I'd appreciate support so I can go ahead and continue to bring you guys Tesla videos and other tech videos on my channel. Alright, we're about a mile away, 0.7 miles away from this exit here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a lane change behind this truck. I'm going to show you to the front, but that's okay. Just putting his brakes on, changing lanes, getting over. Good job, decent job done there. We have to do another lane change here. We've got a car coming on the right. So I'm gonna wait for it to come. You guys can see there. Beautiful. And it's gonna go ahead and get behind this car. So that car was about, I would say, car and a half, a link and a half away, and it waited for it to pass and then change lanes. So that it did that really well. Here's the exit. I'm gonna go ahead and exit on. It says navigate on autopilot unavailable at 400 feet. Toll booth detected. So there's a toll booth coming up. For those of you that live in Illinois, you know what that's like. Apply a slight turning force to the wheel. I did. Perfect. Let's see what it does in this toll booth here. I've never gone through a toll booth on autopilot. I'm going to use one of my transponders here so it picks it up. But I wonder if it'll go through by itself here. It does. Beautiful. That's pretty cool. Alright, obviously we don't want to go straight because it's telling us to make a right, so I'm going to use a turn signal. I'm not sure it'll come over. It will not. So I'm going to go ahead and disengage and make a turn signal, turn into the street here because that's the way we're supposed to go. So did it work coming from on-ramp to off-ramp? Yes, with obviously the exception of the one intervention that I had to do after changing the highway. So that was a unique situation. Again, I'm not sure if that lane would have continued on the highway, if it would have continued or not, but clearly because there was an exit, it didn't know what to do and it had me take over. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn around here and head back home. But overall, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below regarding the full self-driving and the experience you guys had today based on my driving of this 21 Tesla Model 3 Performance. Keep in mind that depending on the road conditions, depending on the traffic patterns and things like that, this is just one test. This doesn't tell you everything about full self-driving or its capabilities or limitations, but this was simply just one test to show you guys how well it works in my area and on this drive. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, again, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. Again, I don't know how to do this backwards, but you guys know what I mean. All right, have a good one. See you later. Bye.